am the wealthy secondary female lead whose engagement was called off in a novel. At my engagement party, the green tea female lead was clinging to the future CEO male lead while weeping about how guilty she felt toward me. I splashed a glass of red wine directly onto her and smiled calmly. I've actually been far too kind to you. To me, today was destined to be an unforgettable day. When I first heard the news that my fiancé had brought another woman to crash our engagement ceremony, claiming he wouldn't marry anyone but her, I was in the middle of getting my makeup done. I simply brushed it off with a faint smile. We were childhood sweethearts. Our 10 years of mutual affection weren't something that could be easily sabotaged. But now, reality dealt me a stinging blow. Seeing the irrepressible rage on the handsome face of my brother, Brandon, my hand paused as I was choosing a lipstick shade. Ultimately, I chose a dignified, high-status classic red. This situation was clearly not going to be simple. When I arrived at the venue, the guests were already seated inside the ultra-luxurious setting. The only thing out of place was the strange woman standing next to Hudson. She wore a crumpled, slightly yellowish white dress. Her expression was stiff and cautious, but there was no denying she had a face as pure as if it had never touched the dust of the world. Seeing me, Hudson's eyes flickered for a moment, but his grip on the woman's hand remained firm. He pulled her quickly toward my future mother-in-law and spoke urgently. Mother, I know I've wronged Vanessa, but this is true love. Shut up. My future mother-in-law's face darkened as she interrupted him coldly. Do you absolutely have to say these things right now? Under the gaze of the entire crowd, Hudson dropped to his knees. Mother, please grant us your blessing. Ivy, she is already carrying my child. A single sentence sent shockwaves through the room. The murmurs of the guests grew louder. My brother crushed his wineglass, no longer able to maintain his facade of calm. You animal. Wasn't he? Just a few months without seeing each other. And not only had he turned his back on me, but he had also gotten someone pregnant and caused a scene at our engagement. Impressive, truly. I walked over with my wineglass, watching the drama unfold with composure. I will not get engaged to Vanessa. Before, I was young and inexperienced. I mistook friendship for love. It wasn't until I met Ivy, a girl so kind and wonderful, that she taught me what love really is. Mother, I cannot abandon Ivy. Hearing these words was enough to make anyone weep, as if I were the villain standing in the way of true lovers. Kind and wonderful, so, was I cruel and ugly? He couldn't abandon her, but he could throw away 10 years of our feelings? My future mother-in-law trembled with rage. She stepped forward, ignoring the fact that the woman was pregnant, bypassed Hudson, and delivered a sharp slap to her face. What nonsense are you talking about? Mother. My fiancé shielded the woman. If you have a problem, take it out on me. Ivy is innocent. Innocent. What a joke. My future mother-in-law looked at me with a face full of concern, but deep in her eyes lurked a trace of contempt and schadenfreude. I curled my lips slightly and took a slow sip of wine. She never liked me anyway. I wasn't the submissive type of daughter-in-law she could easily bully. She was an expert at acting, pretending to do everything for my sake while stabbing my relationship with Hudson in the back. But she seemed to have forgotten, the Hudson family only reached their current status because of my family. The handprint on the woman's face was vivid. She looked at me, weeping piteously. I beg of you, please grant us your blessing. An arranged marriage won't be happy. Eldest miss, I am the one who wronged you. But you are rich and educated. Surely you wouldn't have the heart to let my child be born without a father. Right? Why wouldn't I? I gave a half smile and pinched her chin, forcing her to look me in the eye. After all, I'm not as kind and wonderful as you. Sneaking into my fiancé's bed while I wasn't around. I'm sorry, miss, but my education has always been reserved for human beings, not for your kind. She bit her lip, looking humiliated and distressed, yet she kept her back straight like a little lamb refusing to yield to the wind. How can you insult me like this? I raised an eyebrow in mock confusion. You consider this an insult? Then how about this? Swirling the wine glass in my hand, I slowly poured the liquid over the top of her head. Ah! She shrieked. The wine soaked her hair and trailed down her cheeks, staining large patches of her white dress. She looked utterly pathetic. Hudson draped his jacket over her shoulders, looking at me with eyes full of disappointment and resentment. Enough, Vanessa, haven't you caused enough of a scene? I'm the one causing a scene? I smashed my wine glass and let out a cold laugh. Fine, since it's come to this, let's consider this engagement dead. Remember this well. I am the one calling it off today. I, Vanessa, do not want you. I find you disgusting. I gave a polite bow to the guests, apologizing for the disruption. Please, everyone, be my witness. V Group hereby terminates all cooperation with the Hudson Group. Thank you. With that, I turned and walked away, ignoring the chaos erupting behind me. In the car, my brother put on some soft music, driving with a rare, gentle steadiness. He hesitated before asking carefully, Vanessa, are you okay? I'm fine, why wouldn't I be? I smiled nonchalantly. I can have any man I want. Calling off the engagement is his loss, not mine. My brother let out a sigh of relief, his voice thick with indignation. Exactly, if you hadn't stopped me back there, I would have beaten him to a pulp. If I hadn't stopped you, would the great Brandon be looking to trend on the hot search again tomorrow? The New York City skyline slowly receded outside the window, the dim street lights on. The empty curbs felt incredibly lonely. Was I sad? Perhaps. After all, he was someone I had truly loved. Our families had been friends for generations, since I was a child. I was told Hudson and I were betrothed and that I would one day be his wife and his most capable partner. I was naturally headstrong and hadn't been satisfied with an arranged marriage. I had consciously cared for him, occasionally acting spoiled to both assert my presence and to test if we should just call the whole thing off. I annoyed him, and he annoyed me. Back then, Hudson embodied every teenage girl's fantasy: handsome, arrogant, rebellious, and fiercely confident. He could protect you, fight for you, and show you a tenderness no one else saw. I never expected that we would actually fall for each other. He confessed to me, our status matched. Our elders supported us, it all seemed meant to be. I couldn't understand how, in just a few short months, he had turned into such a brainless fool. Brandon, I'm not going home. Take me to my apartment. I'm going to sleep for a bit. Wake me when we arrive. I fell into a dream that was absurd and bizarre. In it, the world I lived in was a novel titled The Overbearing CEO Falls for Me. The CEO was Hudson, but the female lead wasn't me, it was the innocent Ivy. I was the villainous secondary female lead, who popped up occasionally to cause trouble, serving as a stepping stone for the leads. Romance, turning a winning hand into a total disaster. My ending was wretched, designed to satisfy the reader's sense of justice. Vanessa, we're here. I jolted awake, drenched in a cold sweat. The dream was chaotic yet terrifyingly vivid. I had a strange feeling, an intuition, that this was a prophetic dream. Everything that had happened in the dream had a trail to follow: the madness, the ruin of my family, the betrayal of loved ones. That was to be my end. But I still couldn't believe that the woman driven mad by love was actually me. Brandon, you go ahead. I want to be alone for a while. The final, miserable scene of my life kept flashing in my mind. I buried myself in bed, replaying the freakish dream over and over like a form of self-torture. Detective Miller, I need you to investigate someone for me. After lying in bed for half the day, I got up and cooked myself a simple bowl of noodles. Maiden had returned. He stood obediently at the door, tilting his head slightly, his crystal-clear blue eyes staring intently at me. I knelt down and tapped his head gently. What's wrong? You don't even recognize your sister anymore? His small, furry ears twitched, and he leapt into my arms. Maiden trembled, letting out a soft, pampered meow. Were you bullied? Naturally, he didn't answer, no matter how smart or intuitive he was. He was just a little cat who hadn't turned into a spirit yet. I had rescued Maiden from an animal abuser. I could never find his owner. So I kept him. When he first arrived, he was sensitive and aggressive, likely due to his trauma. He wouldn't let anyone near him. Over time, he stopped rejecting my touch, but he remained wary. Picking him up was never easy, let alone him jumping into my lap voluntarily. Maiden would occasionally disappear for a few days. At first, I was frantic and tried everything to keep him in, but I couldn't stop him or find him. Seeing that he always returned on time and unharmed, I stopped interfering. It was rare for him to be this affectionate, and his soft fur instantly comforted me. While stroking him, I received the file from the detective. The woman Hudson called Ivy was Ivy Walker. Her background and academic record were utterly ordinary. She was the type to disappear in a crowd. 3 months ago, after a breakup, she went out drinking to drown her sorrows. Her fake friends had planned to set her up with an old man, but her luck was good. She stumbled into the wrong room and had a one-night stand with Hudson. That was a plot point from the dream, but not exactly the same. The timeline had moved up. I wasn't supposed to meet her or her genius son, with a staggering IQ for another 3 years. I opened another folder. After careful thought, I had ordered an investigation into events from the past few years. The more I read, the more horrified I became. Everything aligned with the dream, without exception. As hard as it was to believe, the world I had lived in for 20 years was likely a novel. I spent a few days using my memory to compile everything I could remember from the dream. When I finally finished, I let out a long, heavy breath. Maiden had vanished again. The sunset looked like spilled dye, painting half the sky red. A night breeze blew gently, swaying the shadows of the trees. I exhaled a breath of stale air. After being cooped up for so long, getting some fresh air seemed like a good idea. I walked while lost in thought, not noticing that I had wandered into a secluded area. Suddenly, a large hand reached out from behind, covering my nose and mouth, dragging me desperately into a dark corner. The man reeked of alcohol mixed with heavy tobacco. A greasy, filthy voice whispered disgusting, vile words. In the end, the physical difference between a man and a woman was too great. No matter how hard I struggled, I couldn't break free. I bit him hard, but it only fueled his violence. He reached out and grabbed my hair. "You bitch. Don't do this the hard way if you don't want to do it the easy way." Seeing a young man suddenly rush out from nowhere, my eyes widened in terror. "Don't come over here. Go call the police." He ignored my warning signals and marched straight toward us. His slender, seemingly frail arms erupted with terrifying strength. Before I could even react, the man who had tried to assault me was flung aside, hitting the ground with a howl of pain. Julian grabbed him by the hair and slammed his head against the pavement. Over and over again, the entire street echoed with the man's wretched screams. Snapping back to my senses, I grabbed Julian's arm just in time. "Stop. Don't hit him anymore. It's not worth ruining yourself over a piece of trash like this." As the night deepened, the hazy moonlight outlined the youth's delicate features. He looked at me, his eyes dark and bottomless, filled with an emotion I couldn't quite decipher. He released the man and offered me a smile that was both obedient and soft. "Yes, I'll do whatever you say, sister." His hands were long and fair, though a small, reddish scrape stood out on his knuckles. Pointing to his hand, I said, "Let me take you to the hospital to get that treated." He smiled and shook his head. "By the time we get to a hospital, a tiny scratch like this will have already healed." "Thank you for saving me," I said, "but next time you step in to help, remember to protect yourself first. I'm Vanessa. If you ever run into trouble, come find me. If I can help, I will." The boy's beautiful eyes lit up slightly. "Then, could you take me in?" "Huh?" I froze. "Did you run away from home?" "No," he bit his lip, looking aggrieved. "Sister, I have no home to go to. Do you not believe me?" I desperately wanted to nod, no, but after a long silence, I ended up bringing him back with me. Maiden was out again. "What's your name?" The youth replied obediently. "Sister, my name is Julian." I was startled. What a coincidence. My cat's name is Maiden. Wait. No, that's different. Let me disinfect your wound. Tell me if it hurts. He looked up at me. If it hurts, will you blow on it for me? Julian stayed at my apartment. Since I owned plenty of properties, I figured I'd give my savior a place to stay. I didn't want to assume the worst of his intentions, and I even had him investigated. His tragic background as a lonely orphan was exactly as he described. Lately, I had been busy to the point of exhaustion. That dream was like a time bomb. Every day it wasn't diffused was a day I lived in fear. Despite having the moral high ground after the cancelled engagement, our long-standing partnership with the Hudsons meant we still took a hit. But it wasn't a major issue. I spent my time working with my father to purge the company of moles, fix loopholes, and successfully negotiate several large deals. Knowing the plot beforehand, I naturally wouldn't let my family fall into ruin. The process was incredibly smooth. It almost felt like someone was helping us from the shadows. When I finally heard news of Hudson, I was dazed for a moment. I had almost forgotten he existed. Compared to my life and my family, he was nothing. The scandal surrounding the Hudson family was massive, spreading through high society like wildfire. Even without looking for it, I heard plenty over tea and dinners. When the young socialites mentioned him now, it wasn't with admiration but as a joke. They said Hudson had gone mad, severing ties with his family for a woman with no looks, no status, and no talent. A woman as stupid as she was fake, Ivy. He had even declared that if his family didn't accept Ivy, he would never return, preferring to give up his inheritance to be with her. It sent his mother's blood pressure skyrocketing, landing her in the hospital. What a fool. I actually wanted to see how this star-crossed couple was faring now that they had eloped. I heard that when Hudson left, he was quite dramatic and took nothing with him to force him back. His parents froze all his cards, and his father put out the words so no reputable company would dare hire him. When a wall starts to crumble, everyone gives it a push. Finding someone to lend him money wouldn't be easy now. But then again, without a villainous secondary lead, like me sabotaging them, their love should be stronger than ever, right? The opportunity to see them came sooner than expected. During a rare trip to a luxury mall, someone rushed up to me. Wasn't this Ivy? She was still wearing a white dress. When she looked up at me, her eyes were brimming with tears, like a white lotus swaying in the wind. Impressive. Anyone who didn't know better would think I was the one bullying her. Miss Vanessa, can I talk to you? I refused flatly. No, we have nothing to talk about. Ivy bit her lip, a tear falling. Vanessa, I won't take much of your time. You're just shopping anyway. Surely you can spare a few minutes? I found it ridiculous. Are we close? What exactly do you think I have to say to the third party who sabotaged my relationship? And why on earth would I waste my beautiful afternoon on someone whose mere presence gives me a headache? She persisted for so long that I started to feel like a circus act for the onlookers. Driven by a bit of curiosity, I pointed to a cafe across the way. Fine, drop the act. If you want to talk, go over there. The moment we sat down, she began her performance, tears before a single word was spoken. Vanessa, I know you hate me, but true love is not a crime. Hudson turned against his family for me, and he's suffering now. I beg of you, please convince him to go back in. Apologize. I still love him dearly, but I've realized that love isn't everything. Hudson is a favored son of heaven. He shouldn't be living like this. I'm giving him back to you now. Faced with this tearful display, I calmly picked up my coffee. Giving him back to me? Ivy, do you actually think you're being noble? Listen to yourself. Did I make him turn against his family? Did I make him abandon his wealth to play act up, poor man's romance? Clearly caught off guard by my reaction, Ivy's expression stiffened. I had always wondered how someone like this could be the female lead of a book. BZZZZT. Suddenly, I heard a sound like electronic static, followed by a sharp, harsh female voice. System, why is she reacting like this? I looked up at her. Ivy still wore her about to cry, face. How can you say that? She sobbed. But that other female voice rang out again. I've had enough of this life. Damn it, looking at that useless Hudson makes me sick. Aside from a handsome face and a rich dad. What does he have? Making me suffer with him. I'd rather have a $10 million check and get out of here. Some male lead, he is. HMPH, by the time he becomes a dominant CEO, again. I'll be an old hag. Out of everyone I could have transmigrated into. Why did I have to be this brainless female-led? Why couldn't I be that rich heiress? Vanessa? Ivy opened her mouth. Miss Vanessa. The voice suddenly went quiet. System? Transmigrated into me? I remained expressionless. System. What is Vanessa's jealousy level? Finally, I heard the system's voice, monotonous and laced with static. Vanessa's current jealousy level is 0. Host Ivy. Luck value -5. Current luck value is 55. What? Ivy stared at me blankly. Her eyes filled with disbelief. The sharp female voice started arguing with the system again. After listening for a while, I could basically confirm that this inner voice belonged to Ivy. Or rather, a different identity suited her better. A book transmigrator. All the illogical things finally made sense. As long as I felt negative emotions like rage or jealousy toward her, she would gain some sort of supernatural benefit. Conversely, she would be punished. Things just got complicated, since no one was paying her any attention. Ivy's monologue fell flat. She left in a daze. My gaze drifted toward the glass door, where I spotted a familiar figure. Under the scorching sun, a man finally finished handing out a stack of flyers. He took off a heavy mascot head and leaned against the wall, tiredly wiping away sweat. Well, if it isn't my steadfast ex-fiancé who eloped for love. I took a sip of my coffee, leisurely admiring his pathetic state. Ivy claimed he was struggling, and while I hadn't paid much attention, I didn't expect him to sink this low. Yet, I noticed something clearly. The bag Ivy was carrying was this season's latest model, and her dress was far from cheap. It had been quite a while. Now, why wasn't her stomach showing yet? I let out a soft laugh. Seeing Hudson miserable was enough to make me happy. In her quest to harvest my jealousy points, Ivy sought me out numerous times, but I remained unbothered and unmovable. Instead, she ended up losing quite a bit of her luck value. Realizing she couldn't get what she wanted from me, she eventually stopped coming. Once I confirmed I wouldn't be detected by her system, I kept her under constant surveillance. She recently entered the Hollywood scene, likely abandoning the jealousy route for the more difficult likability value, gaining a specific number of fans. Perhaps she had finally had enough of the poverty-stricken days with Hudson and was eager to unlock her entertainment industry plotline early. Or maybe it was both. I flipped the channel. Ivy's face appeared on the screen, looking as fragile and innocent as ever. She gave a pure, bashful smile. A boyfriend? Of course not. I'm still single. Smile all you want. Enjoy your moment. The higher you climb, the harder you'll fall. Did she really think that system was omnipotent? Using the universal charm, or as she traded from the system, her career was skyrocketing. The internet was flooded with her marketing, and the comment sections were full of praise. It was as if she truly were a pure soul, untouched by the world. Meanwhile, my love brain ex-fiancé had vanished without a trace. I wonder if he ever imagined this day when he recklessly walked out on his family. Sister, I missed you so much. A warm body pressed against me as Julian wrapped his arms tightly around my waist. From behind, he rested his head in the crook of my neck. The fresh, clean scent of lemon surrounding me. His voice dropped to a low whisper. I really want to lock you up. So you can't go anywhere. So you'll only be mine. I pushed him away with a complicated expression. What kind of neurological episode are you having now? Have you been reading too many obsessive lover novels? Julian couldn't really be called a youth anymore. He just looked younger than he was. In reality, he was close to my age. And yes, we were together. Some say the fastest way To get over an old flame is to start a new one. The next one is better. The next one is more obedient. He was just a bit too clingy, a sweet sort of trouble, I suppose. I hadn't been back to this apartment in a while. I leaned against the sofa, watching him busy himself in the kitchen. Julian looked so gentle and kind. Dinner will be ready in a moment, he called out. Thinking of the news I'd heard recently, my hand on the remote paused. Julian, or should I call you Julian Hudson? You're the true young master the Hudsons just found and brought back, aren't you? So you found out. Exposed. He turned to me with a beaming smile, frank and sincere. You're so smart, sister. I curled my lip. Was it fun hiding it from me? Julian cautiously approached me. Are you angry? I didn't intend to keep it from you. If you wanted to know, I'd tell you anything. Forget it, I'm not angry. I just felt a strange bit of irritation. So if I didn't ask, you weren't going to tell me? He looked a bit flustered. It was rare for me to act this haughty and unreasonable. A friend messaged me to hit a bar in Manhattan, and I agreed. Sparkling liquids reflected the vibrant lights. Ma'am, here is the drink you ordered. Recognizing the voice, I looked up. The man standing before me holding the tray was wearing a bar uniform, his frame gaunt. I tilted his chin up. Long time no see, my dear ex-fiancé. He hurriedly flinched away, the glass falling to the floor and shattering. I'm sorry. I looked at him with a mix of emotions. This lowly, submissive shell of a man bore no resemblance to the Hudson of the past. Life had eroded all his sharp edges. The light in his eyes was gone. Actually, he had tried to go back to the Hudson house. But so what? He had left home. Originally because he thought he was the sole heir. Who could have known he was just a child swapped at birth by a wet nurse, occupying the true son's place for nearly 20 years? Upon learning that their pampered son wasn't theirs, and that their biological son had been abused by a criminal, Hudson's parents completely broke down. Seeing Hudson only reminded them of their own stupidity. His father severed all ties immediately. The irony wasn't lost on me. If Hudson hadn't caused that scene, the bond between our families and the business merger alone would have ensured he never fell this far. In that dream, he and Ivy were supposed to support each other through thick and thin. Not end up like this. To enter the industry, Ivy had long since aborted the child and latched onto someone else. Poor fool, he threw it all away for a beauty. Only to end up with no family, no child, and a woman who wasn't even his. The alcohol went to my head. I tossed a card at him. $20 to have you for a month. Care to consider? Hudson bent down, picked up the card, and looked at me with hollow eyes. After a moment of silence, he spoke. Fine. I was stunned. I never thought Hudson would agree. Shouldn't he have coldly refused a hateful ex-fiancé like me? I wasn't thinking clearly when I said it, so much so that I brought him straight to my door before I felt a pang of guilt. Was this about to be a new versus old showdown? I gently pushed the door open, and Maiden rushed into my arms. I exhaled in relief. If Maiden was here, Julian definitely wasn't home. I stroked the cat's head. But the usually gentle Maiden hissed the moment he saw Hudson, even baring his claws. What kind of male lead was he that even a cat hated him? I didn't know where to put him. It took all my strength to calm Maiden down. Taking advantage of a moment the cat wasn't looking, I shut the door and fled the scene with Hudson. I took him to another property. I was busy wondering, should I annoy him to death by making him scrub toilets? Or make him do yard work? For $20 a month, I could hire anyone. Besides, he was a betrayer. If I didn't cause him some trouble, I wouldn't be doing justice to the gift he gave me at our engagement. Hudson suddenly grabbed my wrist. Vanessa, is there still a chance for us? What on earth? Had the days of suffering finally become too much, making him miss his wealthy ex-fiancé? His character was trash, but his skin was certainly thick. I brushed his hand off. Where do you get the nerve to say that? He clutched his head in agony. What if I told you it wasn't my will? Every time I met Ivy, I couldn't control myself. It was as if someone else was manipulating my body. Vanessa. Do you believe me? I stayed silent for a long time, thinking of Ivy's system. Honestly, I believed him about 80%, but if one is determined enough, the system shouldn't be able to do much. Brandon and Julian had proven that. Hudson returned the card to me, his voice firm. I don't want your money. I will prove to you that choosing Julian was a mistake. Watching his indignant back as he walked away, I found it laughable. Well, if I didn't find some way to increase the difficulty level for him, I'd be failing my role in his story. Exhausted and ready for sleep, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Julian. He looked travel-worn, his breath coming in short gasps. He pinned me against the wall and kissed me fiercely. Only after a long while did he stop, carrying me over to the sofa. Where is he? I was dazed. Who are you talking about? His voice was devoid of emotion. Hudson. I felt a chill. How did he know I brought Hudson here? He's been gone a long time. I pinched his cheek. Do you really think I'm the type of woman to play two sides? Julian tightened his grip on my hand. But still, you have those other exes, they know how to please you better than I do. Even if I'm sad, you don't seem to care. This jealousy-laden tone gave me goosebumps, as I struggled to find the words to explain. Julian asked softly, are you still angry? I felt helpless. I was never angry to begin with. Julian, you don't need to be so cautious with me. I chose you, and I'm staying with you. I won't deny I once had feelings for Hudson, but that's in the past. For some reason, Julian was convinced that if it came down to a choice between him and Hudson, I'd choose Hudson. Was I really not giving him enough security? Warning, world mainline is collapsing. Host, please restore the plot immediately. Ivy's voice was as piercing as ever. Occasionally, I could hear them in my head. I had prepared early, but I underestimated the system's capabilities. I was kidnapped. Looking around, I guessed it was an abandoned factory on the outskirts of New York. The ropes were tight. I was gagged. Ivy was not far away. She was also tied up, but her ropes looked loose. I was being kidnapped alongside her, just like in the dream. In that dream, I had hired men to kidnap Ivy, only to have it backfire. Hudson had to choose who to save. Ivy was rescued, and I was left to go mad. Ivy looked at me with disdain. Vanessa, feeling smug now? Who do you think Hudson will choose when he gets here? I want to see if you can keep that high and mighty act after you've been abandoned and humiliated. Ivy talked to herself. Mission progress. 30%. She complained. When is Hudson finally getting here? Don't let him waste my sleep time. I have a live stream with my fans tonight. Listening to Ivy and her system complain, I lowered my eyes to hide my coldness. I silently counted down. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed as the iron doors were smashed open. Ivy's smile froze. 3 battered men were thrown to the ground. Julian walked in, silhouetted against the light. Over a dozen uniformed bodyguards lined up behind him. He rushed toward me. Julian untied me. I stretched my limbs. How did you get here? Julian's hands were trembling as he gripped my wrists. He pulled me into a fierce embrace. Julian, you. I'm okay, sister. I had prepared GPS on my phone, hired protection, but Julian had arrived instantly. Without knowing any of it, this time, I finally made it in time. Hearing this, my heart trembled and tears welled up. Hudson arrived shortly after. Breathless, Ivy looked at him hopefully. Hudson, you came to save me, right? I leaned into Julian's arms to watch the show. Hudson walked right past her. Vanessa, are you okay? I smiled. Your woman is over there. Ivy tore off her weak mask. Her eyes filled with hatred. The system shrieked. Female lead Ivy's luck value -10. Male lead Hudson has awakened self-awareness. System self-destructing. Mainline collapsed. The collapse of the mainline had no effect on me. After losing the system, all of Ivy's benefits were revoked. Her fans began to wake up and doubt her. Her scandals were leaked. She became like a rat crossing the street. Hollywood's It Girl was revealed to be a homewrecker. An affair scandal broke. Initially, When Ivy failed to get my jealousy points, I had discovered some interesting things. That day she planned to drug Brandon's wine to get into his bed. I had made sure. She accidentally climbed into the bed of a notorious married playboy instead. Without the system to hide it, the truth came out. I just added a little fuel to the fire by releasing the news. As I stepped out one day, I saw security dragging away a disheveled, crazed woman. "Vanessa, I know it was you." A haggard, withered Ivy glared at me with pure hatred. She screamed, "Why are you still alive? You should have been trampled and insulted. Your family should be ruined. Shut up." I slapped her, cutting her off. Ivy looked dazed. How did it end up like this? I'm the CEO's wife. I'm the female lead. I looked at her. Book transmigrator. You're the one who ruined a winning hand. Yourself. Deep night. The sound of screeching brakes. I jolted awake from a dream. The person who usually held me while I slept wasn't there. I stepped onto the floor barefoot. Panicked. "Maiden, Maiden." I don't know how many times I called out. The sky grew dark. My heart constricted, and I ran outside. The street was empty. I called his name, searching for him. A flash of headlights. The piercing sound of brakes. In the moment of impact, Maiden pushed me away with all his might. He fell in a pool of blood. I stumbled to my knees. Maiden. His form began to shimmer and shift. In a daze, I saw Julian's silhouette. I felt a violent tearing sensation. The world before my eyes shattered. "Vanessa, why are you nodding off? It's fine to make Julian wait. But we can't keep the guests waiting." Brandon waved a hand in front of my face. "Awake yet?" I nodded blankly. "Don't tell me you slept through your own engagement? What's that in your hand?" I looked down. It was a book. The open page clearly stated my name. Brandon pulled me outside. At the engagement ceremony, my gaze landed on a spot. I remembered Hudson causing a scene there. But the person standing there now wasn't him. Tears streamed down my face. It was Julian. He pulled me into a tight embrace. "Sister, you won't escape me this time." My brother whispered a sarcastic interruption. "Kid, the ceremony isn't even over and you're hugging her that tight?" Julian's mother, formerly Hudson's mother, quietly wiped away sincere tears. No Hudson, no Ivy, no system. It was all just a long dream. Everything was exactly as it should be. "Maiden, there you are." The end.